Maybe you should. No, I've got to get pizzas to that observatory over there. And so you get attacked by some like smoke monster, and you like the pizzas fall off, and you're like scrambling around. Like, oh no, somebody
Smoke
needs
monster.
the pepperoni.
So I'm swimming through 30 weight motor oil.
Why are these new additions to your game that your intention was to release this fall? What are you doing?
Their primary focus should be surviving litigation.
Someone take his phone. I'll do it. Just give me a key card and a red button that turns off Randy's Wi-Fi.
It pisses me off that they lump racing in with sports. Then you look at this, insert F-bomb, Mario Kart and Sonic Racing lumped in with F125.
An aimless rant. We were just angry.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
What's up, everybody? We are live. It is episode 68 of the Hardcore Casual Podcast. He is Jay of F1 Podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Fame. So you even jumped the gun that time. I saw you planning it. I saw it in your eyes that something was going to happen. And I am Mason
everyone.
of Online Infamy, and we are the conversation.
Yes,
at
you
the
are.
table behind me. Behind me. Behind you. Table behind you.
Yes.
See, you got me all flustered, man. You got me, and it's just been a week. It's just been a week. I think for both of us, it sounds like it's been a long one. Your boy's been pouring from an empty cup this week, Jay. But we have made it. We are here, and let's see. First of all, I hadn't gotten to edit yet. I've been editing, but I haven't gotten anything out. But hopefully, I can get something soon. But it's been a gnarly week, dude. It's been a gnarly week.
Yeah, man, it sounded like it based on our discussion we had earlier. Of course, with mine, it's just Memorial Day planning and forecasting and inventory and all that stuff that goes along with the adult beverage business. But yeah, we've also had a kind of a weird week where, I mean, I don't have a lot of like media, TV, movie stuff, just a couple of anecdotes, mainly because some stuff I just haven't got to do. And then some decent gaming news, I think, or at least stuff that's related to gaming. So I'm looking forward to going through those.
Well, me too. And this is one of those things where, I've been swamped. I couldn't edit. I didn't even get to be in the news all that much. So there's some of the stuff that you're going to read that I have no knowledge of. And I would see some things, but I wouldn't have time to read about them. So it's going to be fun. But since it's one of those things where it's like, you've had a crazy week, I've had a crazy week, I haven't been able to read a lot of news. This is where I would typically do the thing that always goes the other direction and say, this could be a short episode.
I was going to say that.
And then
yeah,
that's always it's like 2.5 hours later.
Yeah. There's a couple topics on here that could go off the rails pretty quick. And, I might as well start with, the biggest anticipated world game that's going to shut down businesses and companies and make Los Santos a ghost town. And that's the release of GTA 6 Vice City, which is what I'm calling it because I loved Vice City, the first one. But so apparently Best Buy had a leak, and I don't know all the details on the leak, but they had a leak on their pre-order page for the game, and somehow people extrapolated that into a new trailer is imminent. And I think people should be hesitant to believe that. And, there were still people releasing fake news this week on social media that it's still coming out May 26th and they just don't want to tell anybody, or that there's some kind of this, there's some type of, and I literally heard this story and I was like, oh, come on, that there's this thing called Prime pre-order where people are going to get to play it starting May 26th.
So
for a very select group of people.
I think what started some of that. So I did look this up after you mentioned it before we went online. So it's because there were some key points of information there, but it says that it's the campaign physical game, and it mentions duration May 18th of this year through May 21st. So people are taking that to mean that pre-orders could go live on Monday. So I assume that they would say like, oh, well, then they're expecting the trailer to announce the pre-orders and do that whole thing. So that's what they're
not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not. But and if they here's a question. So if that's true, if the best, because sometimes we've seen it before, GameStop, Best Buy,
Yeah.
they'll just put placeholder dates in there. But if it is true and pre-orders do go live, does that get, especially you, because you've been very skeptical and rightfully so because of the continued pushing of the release date. If the
Yeah.
pre-orders go live, do you think that gives further credence to they've got this locked in or not? Because we've certainly seen plenty of games that the pre-orders go live and they still get delayed.
So, and nobody's going to like this opinion, but I don't think you can argue with its possible credibility or potential credibility. So, I think the pre-orders will go live on the 18th, and I think Rockstar is using that as a way to say, okay, we've got a 92% finished product, and we've got 80 billion pre-orders. So let's go ahead and release what we got, and we'll just use day one patches to get it to where we wanted it to. But I
What a
don't.
lot of them do.
If I don't think if the pre-orders don't look like the way they want it to, which I don't know how they wouldn't,
Yeah.
they'll say, you know what, we're going to delay it. We'll get 100% of it done, hit that 100% solution, and then we'll release it. And then our pre-orders by that time would be double or triple.
I like you. I don't think there is any scenario where pre-orders go live and those pre-orders disappoint. Like that they get those numbers
Yeah.
and like, yeah, it's struggling. We're I don't know if we're gonna be able to limp over our goal. Like and especially you hear a lot of people that are like, they delayed it again or this or that. I'm not gonna buy it because of whatever they did that made me mad. It's like the people that like, oh, well, they did this to Harry Potter. Well, I'm not gonna watch. Yeah, you are. Like,
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of people at GTA 6 who are like, well, they did this or they did that. Well, I'm not gonna buy it. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. So even though
Yeah,
there
and
will
I
be people that
think
say, like, I'm not gonna pre-order, they will.
yeah, and we've got a generation of people that are like your age, even my age, that are senators and CEOs and CFOs and COOs and all the C's, and these are people that are going to want to play this game as well, man. So, I think it was something like 1,200 years or something, and I don't know if anything's still past it, but 1,200 years, the Bible was the top selling piece of media in the world. And I don't know if it got surpassed or when it was surpassed as the top selling piece of media. But and I say this as a man of faith, I think this game could potentially outsell the Bible. Although, I mean, you're talking about 1,000 years of institutional selling, but still.
Well, it's also funny because you bring up a good point that GTA has been so good for so long. Obviously, where we'd had releases before, but GTA 3 was the one that was that revolutionized, basically invented the open world game in the way that we know it today, in the way that we understand an open world game today. And it's been going for so long that I hadn't even thought about that until you mentioned it. Like, you're right. There's people that are now in high level positions because they grew up loving GTA. They played GTA 3 when they were kids in school, and now they're in positions of power. This is probably the first game release that could have like a blue flu effect on C-suite level positions.
I'm just going to tell you this. I went to my boss and I said, hey, man, I need you to get on the vacation calendar and I need you to black out November 20, November 21, if it's a weekday. And he's like, dude, that's nothing. He goes, the following week is Thanksgiving. And he's like, that week's blacked out. I said, I need you to black out the 20th and the 21st. And he goes, why?
When you say blackout, that would mean that nobody can ask off for it.
Right.
Okay.
You can get off for it, but you won't get paid during a blackout. So, and he was like, why am I doing this? I said, I tell you what, go to my buddy Chad, who's also a gamer, and he's also my boss's boss. And I said, go talk to him and you'll know exactly why, probably. So he comes back. He's like, I couldn't find him. I'm like, Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out that day. And he goes, dude, I'm not even a gamer. And I know what that is. And I go, well, we won't have anybody here. It'll be me and you running this entire joint. And he goes, I'm going to go black that out right now. So, yeah, man, it's going to be crazy. And I'm not even planning on getting it on the release because I know
I will.
I know how the bugs are it's gonna be, and then people are gonna be bitching, and I don't even want to be part of that either. Even though I know on this show I'll end up being part of that. Quit your bitching. It just came out. Obviously, there's going to be kinks in the system. You know,
I don't know. It's one of those habits that I can't break. Where it's like, if there's a game that I want, and I'm ready for, like, I'll pre-order it and everything like that,
Yeah.
or and it's I still I get busy. I won't be able to play it until the weekend at the earliest or something like that. Like, but
Yeah.
there's just some part of me that still wants to have it the moment it releases, even though I'm an adult these days, Jay, and I can't play
Yeah.
it anymore. So yeah, I will for sure be getting it on release. I don't know when I'll be able to play it, but same with like First Light, 007 First Light. Once that releases,
Well, yeah, for that I'm down. That's my GTA 6, man.
yeah, but the thing is, and again, it's our most anticipated game, Hardcore Casual. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll actually be able to play it, or how much I'll be able to play before we actually record.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, what day does it come out on?
The 27th.
What day is
this
that
month.
though?
The 27th of this month is on
It used to be Tuesdays.
Wednesday. So it will be.
Plus,
it'll
we
be
get
coming out the
24-hour
day
early
before.
access. Yeah. So we still get the 24-hour. So it'll be playing Wednesday. Yeah, I'll have some time in on that. I guarantee it before we get on the show Thursday.
I hope
so I'll be able to
I
give.
will.
I'll be able to give initial spoiler-free, things that are going on. So, oh, you son of a biscuit eater.
What? I didn't do anything.
Not you. So I've got my notifications for various things, and my Steam notification popped up, and I texted my son. I was like, "Hey, did you hear that Subnautica 2 is in early access?" And it just popped up on Steam. Jason Poggers is playing Subnautica 2. I was like, "You son of a bitch, dude." Seriously.
I was like, man, that was an abrupt change. I'm like, I didn't even do anything.
Sorry.
Well, hey, you want to go ahead and talk Subnautica 2?
No, because I got one more GTA thing, but then yes, I
Okay.
definitely do. So the other GTA thing that I'm definitely going to participate in, because I did play this game for 10 years pretty much religiously, and then on and off after that, probably once a year, is the GTA 5 Last Ride. And this seems to have been organized by the internet and social media and the interwebs and the dark web and whatever webs you're on. But apparently everybody on the last night before the release is going to get on GTA 5. And I don't know, they didn't mention a time zone, but they said we're all going to meet at sunset at the airport.
Time. They can figure
and
it
your
out.
And I love the way they worded it. Get your favorite ride that brought you through all these years, the one that took you through the hard times, blah, blah, blah. Meet at the airport, and then they're going to do a convoy ride around the entire map, which I
actually think is a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna be streaming, doing their meet. I'm sure the first part will be just the car meet at the airport with, everybody jamming their sounds and whatnot. And of course, I'm sure there'll be the trolls out there like, we're gonna be hiding in the woods and rocket launching everybody and ruining the event. So just be ready, because you can't have GTA 5 without trolls.
And what date did you say they were planning on doing that?
This will be the day before the release. So I imagine November 19th or 20th.
So I wonder what will happen if it does get delayed. I mean, are we still doing a last ride, or we'll just do second to last ride? Like, because you don't want to delay it. Everybody's going to want to do it. I did see a thing where they had the map where it was going to be the absolute longest route, around the map.
Which is funny, because that's always the first thing I do on GTAs anyway, is take the longest trip.
Work your way in.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that on every game, though.
I do that on every. I did it on Crimson Desert, and I definitely walked into some caves and shit I should not have went into, but died so much. But the event fascinates me, man. Whether it ends up happening, whether it's true or not, and whoever decided to come up with it. I saw a TikTok. Actually, somebody did a really cool video with some vibing style music, and it was very well done. And it just fascinates me that community, as toxic as it can be, could come together for something like this. And I think that's cool. And I think a lot of these, they're not kids anymore, but and I played this already as a 30 something man, year old man, but there's a lot of I read the comments, and so many of them were like, dude, this game came out when I was 13 and I'm 27 now, and I have 2 kids, and I'm married, and I have a cat, and I just bought my second home. And I'm like, you were 13 when that came out, and now look where, and you've been playing that this whole time, and look where you are now.
It's like Skyrim,
And
man.
yeah, so people, and I think we all have one of those games. That's, for me, it's tougher because the games weren't that good when I was younger. There's a lot of gems out there, but nothing on the level that GTA 5 was. And so I do think it's a fascinating event that some of these people and how much GTA 5 is ingrained in their life. So
Well, we do have the thing though, where it's like, okay, it might be releasing. So let's say GTA 6 releases when it's supposed to.
right.
Last Ride, okay. But one thing that we don't know, even if it does release as planned, we don't know when the online component releases.
That's a
So
fair point.
so it's like, okay, yeah, you might play the actual campaign, the actual story mission, but is it the last ride? Is it the last ride? How it depends, right? Like, what if they release the online component a lot later?
Yeah, I got to tell you, part of me wants to get on GTA 5 on GTA 6 release day just so I can finish some of these corporate boss missions that I was never able to do because of that dumbass. Hey, so and so's trying to finish a corporate mission. Let's all go kill him.
Yeah,
And
let's
I'm
treat it like the Dark
hoping-
Zone in Division.
Yeah, and that's so unrealistic. I'm hoping 6 does a thing where if somebody doesn't see it on their phone, capture it on their phone and then post it to social media, that you can get stuff done. You can finish some of these missions because that would be ultra realism right there. And I think that would be cool.
Well, I'm curious to see what they do with it, but yeah, I think it's a cool idea to do one last ride. I probably won't be participating because I never really got a chance to do much of the online stuff anyway. But I do think it's.
Did you not?
I did not because nobody that I knew either played or played on. I was on Xbox at the time. I had not.
I was
made
too
the
when it first
switch.
launched.
Oh yeah, when it first launched. Yeah, everybody was on
Wow.
Xbox when it first launched.
Wow.
What I'm just
That
saying,
was
it's
very much you're fucking old.
No, I said Xbox was actually winning the console wars at that point.
Oh yeah.
And what a twist of fate we've had from when GTA 5 started to where GTA 5 is about to end.
Yeah, I lived in Tennessee and it came out on the 360. And of course, we didn't have online at the beginning. And then we got it. And then I converted to from Xbox 360 to PS4, right? PS4. And I had a devil of a time getting Rockstar to import my profile.
You went the generation up to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Not lateral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I would not get a PS3 for nothing. So anyway, but I had to fight with Rockstar's customer service to get my character imported or exported from 360 to PlayStation. They finally did it and didn't lose anything. It changed my appearance, and I was like, well, shit. But anyway.
Which one was it where you couldn't pick your character's appearance? You had to pick your character's parents. Do you remember that in the online thing where you had to pick your character's parents? And then it would be like, here's some features.
Yes, that was 5.
Okay, that was
5 first. Yeah.
Okay, because I remember where I was like, why can't I just pick my face? Why are you just like doing some amalgamation of my parents that I can pick so I can choose my parents' faces, but I can't choose my face? Like, it was
dude,
so
bizarre. My guy came out and he looked awful. I mean, he was just this Guido looking MF from. I was like, bro. So I wore sunglasses or a face mask the whole time. So
I'm gonna walk around in a welding mask.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I got a yacht and I own the Maze Bank Tower, so you call me ugly all you want. But
there you go.
But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that last ride thing. But yeah, let's move off of GTA and we can talk because this has been a story on the Hardcore Casual podcast since we brought up the lawsuit with Krafton and with what's the name of the company that does Subnautica something Worlds?
Yeah, I can't. Forbidden Worlds? No, I don't know.
It is. Hold on. It's Unknown Worlds. Sorry, I just didn't want to get it wrong. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
don't put Forbidden Worlds in your browser. I'm sure you'll probably get something
that's
else.
probably not good. But Subnautica did enter early access just as they said it would today. I know on Steam it's $29.99, and it adds a feature that people requested forever. You can now do 4-player. I thought it was only going to be 2-player co-op, but it is 4. They confirmed it's 4-player co-op. From what I understand, and on Steam, it's right now it's sitting at 6,649 reviews, very positive. That's pretty decent.
That is, especially now it's only been there for hours. It's not even been there for days yet. And I don't. So just to catch people up, if this is the first time you're hearing about Subnautica 2 and Crafton and all that stuff, the Unknown Worlds was acquired by Crafton, which is one of these big conglomerates like Tencent and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
The part of the acquisition agreement was that I think it's 4 founders were going to be able to share in an astronomical sum of money. I believe it was $250 million of bonuses if they were able to launch early access by a certain date. I believe it was the end of last year, and then get a certain number of orders on that. It meets certain sales goals. So Crafton, in order to get out of this, fired those 4 people. Those 4 people then sued, and basically the judge sided with them. They got the deadline extended beyond where it was supposed to be, and now they've hit that deadline, that extended deadline. So it's live now. If they hit their sales goals, they get their money. And Crafton was actually in a decision I had never seen before. Not only was Crafton made to reverse it and hire these people back, but they legally could not interfere or have any direction, sway, or say so in the production of the game. They couldn't even so much as walk through the doors of Unknown Worlds.
Yeah, which I found incredible, and I my hat's off to whatever the judicial body that handled that case. But
hope that judge is a gamer.
Yeah. And like I mentioned this morning, the Steam community has been jonesing for this game for a long time. And I imagine the fervor of the console community at least meets it, if not exceeds it. So happy to see it in early access. As I just mentioned and called my son an SOB on the air. He is playing it right now after all I did was text him.
There are levels to that comment. There are levels to that comment.
Yeah, there are so many levels. And unless you have sat at the brewery and drank a few beers with me, then you would not know the levels of possible accuracy with that comment. But anyway, just happy that it's out there and it's available for people to play now. I don't know if you're interested or going to pick it up. I definitely will at some point.
So I know that you've mentioned many times on the show, one of your favorite, I don't know if we call it a genre, but types of games is underwater, especially underwater exploration. And I do too. I mean, not to your level, but I do find it an interesting setting because I like space games, and I think underwater is very similar. To outer space. And what was there was one that was published by it wasn't developed by Quantic Dream, but Quantic Dream published it. That was the underwater game that you told me to look out to play, and I did. I haven't finished it, but it was great.
Oh, what was that called? Crap, man, I can't remember right off the top of my head.
But I've heard so many positive things about Subnautica, but I've never played it. So from what I've seen, though, it seems kind of like underwater exploration, survival meets No Man's Sky kind of a thing.
Yes, and it very much, and probably throw some Ark in there while you're at it, and throw some Minecraft in there because the game has 2 differing mode mechanics. So you've got the survivor one where you land and you've got nothing and you've got to build yourself up from scratch. But it also has a creative mode where you have access to everything right from the beginning, and you can
don't have to worry about so much stuff.
Don't have to worry about the crap. And Under the Waves is the Quantic Dream game, by the way.
Yeah.
And that game was almost more of a psychological drama thriller, really.
Descent into madness.
Yes. I don't know. I just like the idea, man. I've always loved the idea of not only space but underwater. And as you mentioned, they're very similar. I wish we had more zero G realistic space games that kind of match that intensity that underwater games give you. But definitely, I'm looking forward to this. I always hate it when games have water in the game, but you either can't go in it or it's very limited. Um, and I feel like it's wasted space because you look at the Assassin's Creed games like Odyssey, where you could dive to the bottom of all these seas in Greece, and you're telling me there's nothing there. There's no Sea Rex or anything down there.
It's like, well, why
What a
are we even
waste.
here? If
Yeah,
it's
don't
just
let us
if it's
go.
just
Don't let
nothing.
me go for a swim.
Well, and speaking of like underwater, one thing that I like about it, I don't know, I don't know if this will make sense or not, but I think one of the things that I do like about underwater games is it's a very unique type of tension that it can create.
Yeah,
And the same thing in movies where I don't watch a lot of horror films because not because I don't like horror. It's just because so many of them are jump scares, and there's the story
yeah,
sucks. Like I'll watch a horror movie, just give me a good story along with it. I loved Weapons. Whenever Weapons came out, I really enjoyed that movie. So I'm fine with horror. It's just so hard to find horror with a good story. But so I don't mind horror, but I think and you can build tension up in these horror movies and jump scares and all that stuff. But whenever you're underwater, there's just that claustrophobic sort of anxiety that just doesn't leave your chest the whole time that you're watching. And you can't get that any other way because there's just
yeah,
always this constant, just sort of like unease. And then everything else just builds on top of that. So I don't know. I
yeah.
think
And
it's a good vehicle to just have that weird on edge feeling all the time.
I think this is probably an excellent topic for a whole conversation on a different episode. But I think sensory deprivation is one of just the strongest ways to drive tension. You know, I think about like if you're watching the show The Expanse in your living room with a lamp on and friends around, I think them out there doing like EVA walks on the side of the ship, and I was tense every time I saw one of those. I'm like, something's going to happen. One of them's going to get blown off the ship, and they're But I'm trying to think if I watched that in the theater where it's
That'd be
dark
awesome.
and I'm locked into a seat, the tension would have been a lot more. And I think that's what underwater gives you because you're worried about, man, are they going to run out of air? Can they breathe? Can I breathe? What's behind them? They don't know. They have no way. They're wearing this big ass
Well,
helmet
depending on
thing.
how
There's
deep,
no
they
way.
don't even know what's in front of them because they have such
Yeah.
limited visibility.
Yeah. So I think that's the driving factor and I love being scared in that way.
Yeah.
The same way you just said. I mean, you can do all the jump scares you want. And I'm just like, no, I'm not buying it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game, man, when I get a chance to. And it won't be anytime soon, but I'm looking forward to see I read the article from Unknown Worlds as far as, yes, this is early access, but this is a full featured early access. You have a lot of things you can craft. There's a lot of biomes available. We're going to be adding biomes and tools and craftables as the early access goes on. So I think that's cool. I really wish the Expanse had went, even though we wouldn't have got much. I wish they would have went with the early access model as opposed to the demo model, because the demo locks you in to that one little microcosm of what our game is.
Yeah, but the thing there is, early access is just never. I think there's been a couple of games that have done it on console, but it's just not really a common thing. And
Yeah.
as you pointed out, after we had played the demo or the beta for the Expanse, because you played it on PC, I played it on console, and you
Yeah.
kind of pointed out that it seems clear from just what you could see that they're making it available to PC, but they're really gearing it and trying to like cater to the console players. Maybe
Yeah.
because given that it's Owlcat, maybe they're like, okay, well, it is third person action RPG. We've kind of been here on PC. Maybe they're just kind of like, hey, let's see, let's let the console players know we're here, because I had never heard of them until the trailer dropped for this game.
Yeah.
You were familiar with Owlcat. I had never heard of them.
Yeah, if you hadn't been involved with the Pathfinder universe franchise or the Warhammer franchise, you're not gonna you wouldn't have heard of them. That, I mean, they were that small and that niche. So, but yeah, and again, they're completely outside their comfort zone with this game, and it feels like they're doing a good job. And I really felt like they could have stretched their legs with this beta and made it more of a, hey, let's add, series this month, and then we're gonna add Ganymede, and then and I also get keeping everything under wraps so you don't ruin too much of your game before it even releases.
But
So I get that too.
I also wonder how that, and I'm sure there have been games that have done it. Again,
Yeah,
I'm not a PC, but I'm sure there have been games that have done it. But I think that could be frustrating, especially given that it is a clearly going to be a Mass Effect like game. It's going to be
yeah,
action. So it's like, well, it's and you and I like to do stuff outside of the main mission
yeah,
and kind of have some freedom. So if they did that, it would be really hard to sort of like, because people that are like, oh, well, I'll go here. Oh, we don't have that yet. So you wouldn't be able to kind of like do some of it outside of the main thing. Even there'd be some stuff that you just wouldn't be able to do and kind of explore and do your own thing. So I don't know. I mean, as much as I would love to play that game right now, I think I think I would rather wait for a finished product where I wouldn't have to sort of like meter how I went about exploring the world.
there are times, and this might sound weird to you, maybe not, maybe more people, maybe 40% of people agree with me on
Probably
this one,
40.
but at least 40. But there are sometimes when I'll play a beta or a demo and I go, God, I wish they just hadn't released a beta or a demo. I wish I could have just waited. And of course I didn't have to play the beta or the demo, but sometimes it's cool, especially if you get invited to a closed beta or you ask for access and you don't know if you're going to get it, and you do, and I get that. But there are times when I think early access and or beta demo works, and there are times when I'm like, I wish I hadn't had that ruined for me and I'd just waited till the game came out.
Well, and see,
Kinda
that's
thing.
one of the maybe that's where the Expanse kind of. I mean, it did leave us wanting more.
Yeah.
We were shocked at how short it was, but it gave away nothing about the game that we didn't already really know, and
Right.
as far as the story goes, and we got to play enough scenarios. We got to have conversations. We got to have gunplay. We got to try zero-G combat and indoor combat. We got to try a bunch of different guns. We got to try a little puzzle solving, hacking. We got to try all these different things so
Yeah.
that we could provide feedback on it. And so I think it's pretty good in that sense, where it didn't spoil anything for us, got us hyped. We wanted more, and there was still enough things that we did get to do that it could provide valuable feedback to them as they went through it. So as much as it's almost frustrating how little we got and how it was just like, no, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing,
Yeah.
because you don't have to worry about, like you said, you don't have to worry about like, well, damn it, it kind of, I wish I would have gotten to be surprised by that moment or whatever.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I got to look at the fact, like back to Subnautica, it's a different style of game. When you're talking about a survival game, I don't mind. I'm not there for the story anyway, man. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I'm there for the, hey, can I build this gigantic underwater habitat that has a dry well in it where I can take a submersible down and
collect soft leather,
leave it. Yeah, like collect enough soft leather and some coral and build weird things that coral can't naturally build anyway. And those are the things that interest me about those types of games. So you're not going to ruin anything for me by letting me play some of the story.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how we go about it. But yeah, I good luck to the people at Unknown Worlds, and I hope that Subnautica does hit all of its goals. I hope that they absolutely stick it to Crafton. That was ridiculous, and I'm glad to see it. I hope these guys obtain generational wealth by sticking it to the man.
Speaking of small dev houses and generational wealth, I'd like to transfer to a little tiny developer called Pearl Abyss that developed a game called Crimson Desert that took the world by storm. Good or bad, it took the world by storm. And we got to talk about one
largely
specific.
Good.
Yeah. We got to talk about one specific, and I have not got to try this before I even bring it up. They had an update, and one of the things they've put in the game in certain towns and villages is a claw game, like a carnival claw game that has
how
loot.
How do they even make this like? How do they even have like a reasonable way
who
of making this
decided this?
operate?
Who came up with this anyway? So apparently, it's like you put silver or copper. I don't even know. I haven't got to do it. I've watched a couple things on it, but
is it
Pearl
like the
Abyss
claw
released
that
a
your
statement.
character throws, that Cliff throws? Is it that claw, or
No.
is it just like it is a mechanical?
It's like
claw?
a vending machine. It's like the vending machine with the claw, and
Wow.
it picks up like furniture and materials and rare loot apparently. But apparently, Pearl Abyss released a press release today talking about how people are spending exorbitant amount of hours. They're logging in. That's the only thing they're doing is standing there at that claw game. So now they're worried that people are just going to farm loot from the claw game. And I'm worried that they're going to take it out before I try it.
Yeah.
But, which, I'm probably going to play it tomorrow at some point. But still, though, I think that is, who thought of that?
Well, and you said you've seen it? You've watched it?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
So is it like a claw machine sized, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, there was a building that I walked. I still don't know what in the world was going on with it, but there was a burned down or burned out house where there were walls, but the roof was burned down, and there was a crane that you could get in and operate. And I was wondering, like, maybe they just threw some shit in there and like use that, but. So no, it's just a regular old claw machine.
No, man, it's a claw machine, and there's these little hexagons that have like something shiny in them, and you reach down and you don't always get one apparently. So you got to spend more money, and then you can keep going. Maybe you get a candle. Maybe you get the Electro Mega Greatsword, dude. Who knows? So, but
I'm
still,
intrigued.
I think that
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. What a cool feature. And I think it's funny that Pearl Abyss has been watching and saying, oh my God, people are spending they saw one person had spent 246 hours playing the claw game.
Good Lord.
So obviously I wouldn't do that. It would be like 243, but still, I think that's a cool feature for them to add. And of course they keep adding new things. They've got a tiger mount now that looks really cool. And, there's a lot of new features with the latest update, so I'm looking forward to jumping back into that at some point this weekend and trying that out.
I have played embarrassingly little of the main story. I think the last bit of the main story I got to play was I'd opened up my little camp and gotten a few things done with Yawn, and that was it.
Dude, if it wasn't for Rob and my son, like I had like 2 Greymanes in my camp, and I was already over 100 hours in the game, and my son had at the time, I think he had 34 Greymanes in his camp, and Rob probably had the same. And he literally came in and gave me a tutorial on how to get. And I'm like, I could have done this the whole time, and I didn't even know it. I was trying to do other shit, obviously. And
wait, so
and now
you can collect Greymanes?
Yes, that's like part of the main story that they don't even tell you is part of the main story. But I have like 25 now living in my camp. And now I'm upset because the place is too crowded. Like every time I walk, I'm like bumping in. I'm like, son of a bitch. But you can send them off to do their own missions and stuff, which I think is neat. And that yields benefits for you. But it's like a sub main story that's kind of flowing beneath the regular main story.
So, sorry guys, Crimson Desert talk here. But so the first campsite that you get where you're on that cliff, there's another cliff. There's like, a canyon or a divide between them. And there's a house.
And a house. Yes.
And I've been over to that house and I can decorate that house. But it's just empty. Like, does that house ever become easier to access? And because I was like, what's going on there? Because it shows as being outside your campsite, but then whenever you get there, you can decorate it. So I was like, what is going on?
You can also put these like magic storage containers in there where you can like put food items in one and put something else in that. That way you never need to carry them anymore. You'll always have access to them. It's like it's on a Wi-Fi network.
Take it.
But yeah, that whole camp starts to expand and blow out, man. You get a stable and you get a blacksmith and a forge, and Yeah, it gets, and I didn't even. Here I am, just walking around. I got my pup tent, and
I've gotten a
my
few.
drunk Yan, and the dude standing behind the thing going, "Don't mess with my system. People are trying to steal our booze," and that's all I had for the
I don't think I've got
longest
that
time.
guy. Don't have the
Yeah.
booze guy.
So, but anyway, yeah, they just keep. I mean, they keep giving fans what they want, and I'm not saying that Pearl Abyss watches this show, but we've said time and time again, if you would just listen to your fans, and we're not saying do everything they want because there's extreme shit out there, but listen to the majority of what I would call your strong fans, your good fans, and give them what they want. And that's all. And I think that's where I'm really confident that we're going to completely dig this Black Flag Resynced. And I tried to get through an episode without bringing up Assassin's Creed, because two things I don't want to bring up every week is Assassin's Creed and Genesis, and I'm not going to bring up Genesis, but Assassin's Creed Resynced. But I didn't actually bring it up. I referenced it. There's a difference. I do think this Assassin's
there, Jay. A nuanced take.
I do think this Assassin's Creed is going to be awesome. I really think we ought to do an Assassin's Creed Black Flag version of the GTA 5 Last Ride. And do like just a night on the sea with sea shanties.
That'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I know we can't do it multiplayer, but still I think that'd be cool to like maybe get like 4 split screen Twitches going, just sailing the open ocean and doing sea shanties. But
is it July that it releases?
Yes.
Black Flag? Okay.
I think July 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right, yeah.
But I think it's hard. It would be hard, I would think, for these companies to sit around and see what Pearl Abyss is doing and not going to the boardroom the very next morning and go, guys, I'm not saying we need to do exactly this, but these guys are onto something that we have obviously been missing. And if we don't figure this out, then we all need to find new jobs.
Well, they are updating this game like it's a live service game, which I don't think I've ever seen another company do this outside of CD Projekt Red, where they would always be updating The Witcher 3. Like, oh, you don't like the way he moves? Okay, let's make it a little bit less wonky so that you can stop a lot quicker, and so you can have a toggle now so that you can switch control.
Yeah,
like CD Projekt Red will do this. They're the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head that have done anything even remotely close to what Pearl Abyss is doing, and they're even taking it even further, like claw machines, stuff like that. So it's kind of wild that we're getting all of these little updates like it's a live service, and it's a single player game, and all the expansions are free.
Yeah, and then I guess apparently we're obviously, and I brought this up before, we're going to be getting co-op, which is going to open it up to a whole new level of shenanigans once we get co-op. And I can't wait to see the hacks that people do with like that claw thing and the ability to like jump boost yourself once they get co-op, and what they're able to do with more than one person. It's going to be insane, and we're going to be entertained, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with Pearl Abyss and what they've done, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future too with this game and what's to come later.
And moving on, another game that I'm interested in, because I mean, you guys know me, I love sci-fi, I love space. One of my favorite shows ever as a kid was the original Battlestar Galactica, and by extension, the 2004 series that we got starring Katie Sackhoff and Edward James Olmos, among other people, was Battlestar Galactica Reimagined, or whatever it was called. Well, that's what it was. It was the Reimagined series. But we had a game called Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, which, folks, if you haven't played that and you're into turn-based RTS strategy, you missed out, and you should go back and play it. It's still worth playing. But we just got Battlestar Galactica Scattered Hopes. I've been watching this game since we announced it. I guess when it was announced at the Game Awards. It might have been our Gamescom episode that we did.
It was one of the game shows, one of the big game shows.
But it released, and it is getting solid reviews. It's in that 7 to 8 category, which is great for a AA title. It might as well be a 10 when you're talking about a AA title. It is a turn-based strategy, and it is a stress-based strategy game because you are the captain of what's called a gun star, which is the level of ship right below a battle star. And you also have a civilian fleet, and you're trying to make your way to the Galactica fleet that we know from the show. So it takes place during the show's time frame. It has the music from the show, which was fantastic, by the way.
I don't think I've ever heard a
And-
cross word about the show. I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of the few that's great. But anyways,
and for all intents and purposes, the game is coming out of the gate hot and doing very well. So if you find yourself, if you're one of those people that's into turn-based, if you're into strategy RTS gaming, definitely give this game a look. It's also it's priced very well. I'm sure the Steam version's the same price as the PlayStation version. I'll just
I would
look it up.
imagine so.
So it's regular $25 and it's on sale for $20 for a release special for Steam right now. So not a bad pickup. But
Even at
yeah,
full
and
price.
give yourself some. Yeah, 25 is not bad, and I'm sure it's going to have tons of DLC. Deadlock has, holy shit, it probably had 12 to 14 pieces of episodic content that made it even better. So yeah, give it a go. Go out there, listen to your favorite like space game content creators. I'm sure they've got nothing but good things to say about it. I always listen to Obsidian Ant or LT Gaming. Those are my favorite guys for space games. But find their YouTube channels and listen to that. But anyway, I thought that was a cool little story to bring up.
Yeah, for sure. I've never finished Battlestar Galactica, so I don't have much to add, but I'm intrigued.
There is a great separate sub podcast for Katie Sackhoff right now where her and her husband are sitting on the couch at home doing a watch along of Battlestar Galactica because oddly enough, she had never seen an episode.
Well, and for those that don't know, Katie Sackhoff's husband is Carl Urban.
No, this is a different guy.
Well, then it's not her husband.
It's her husband.
Can't be.
I'm pretty sure.
You're
Anyway,
mistaken.
we'll get back to you on that. We'll do some fact finding there and get back to you on that. But the other piece of news that I think this is going to lead to a discussion, I'm pretty sure, is we brought up the Project Helix last week and how my general contention was that it was going to be an box and, you know, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. I felt like you were on the same kind of opinion there.
Yes, I am mistaken. I'm trying to figure out where I went wrong.
Okay.
On
Katie Sackhoff?
On Katie Sackhoff, yeah. I was like, I would have sworn she was married to Carl Urban. I am
Yeah.
incorrect. So you are now. I knew that. Okay, they were together from 2014 to 2018. So
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
yeah,
So,
my
Anyway,
bad,
I had
guys.
it's all right. No big deal. So I'd moved on to the Steam Machine, and I don't want to talk about it yet. I want to talk about Project Helix because of what we said last week. So
Yes,
you've got a box that's coming out that we feel like is going to be trying to be a PC and trying to be a console, but will exceed at being neither. At least that I felt like that was our.
Oh yeah, for sure.
contention.
It seems where it's like to summarize it in a bit longer is basically that it would be like an entry level PC, but at such a high like a high price that if you're going to pay that price for entry level PC, you would be better off just spending and buying it yourself, building it and going from there, where it's like it's so expensive, it's likely going to be so expensive that it will probably turn off console gamers as this crossover machine, but it will likely be so underpowered that it would be a turn off to PC gamers.
Correct. So, like I said, it's not going to hit either market,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of worried
They
about it.
just missed the layup.
So then Steam this week releases an article on pretty much every tech website saying that they've got 4 variants of their Steam machine. And basically they have a 512 gig version with and without a controller. And they have a 2 terabyte version with and without a controller. Now the 512 gigabyte starts at $700, which I imagine with the controller it'll probably be $750. The 2 terabyte version starts at $750,
Oh,
and
wow.
probably $800 for the controller version.
2 terabytes, a no-brainer.
My question is, why in the absolute F would you even buy the 512? Just pony up the extra 50 and get the 2 terabytes.
While you were saying that, I was gonna say like once you're done, I was gonna be like, by the way, nobody buy the 512. Like that, you can't do anything with 512 gigabytes.
No, you can't.
Like I mean, because first of all, they're gonna have so much cordoned off for system files, all that stuff. Yeah, and yeah, as big as games are, I mean, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is like over 100. I mean, it's for sure over 100. But I don't know.
A game we're going to talk about tonight, Forza Horizon 6, is 166 gigabytes.
Wow. So it's like, okay, with the amount that you cordon off, like you maybe like buy store 2.5 of those games.
Yeah. And then, guys, for all you people that aren't PC people, your PC needs a buffer memory of space to run your stuff. So you can't use all of it. You can't get down to 5 gigs and then run a game. You can forget it. It ain't going to happen. It's going to log jam on you. My other thing is this. They're obviously marketing console people, and I'll tell you why. Because they're selling it based on how much storage space it has. If you're a PC version person or a PC person, you could care less. How you would market to a PC person is saying, we have one version that has an RTX 3070 in it. We have another version that has an RTX 5080 Ti. You would market it by the graphics card in it, not by how much storage it has in it. So my other question is it expandable? I have 50 questions. I do think they're doing a better job than Microsoft is. Of course, Microsoft's not really pushing the Helix yet, but I do think out of the gate they're doing a better job putting it out there, especially since everybody thought this thing, and even I did, thought it was going to cost $1,200. That was my baseline price. And for them to come in at $800 probably max, that is a sufficient discount that I think. Plus I think, and again, I don't know, because this article, all it was if you'd have read this article, you'd have laughed your ass off, because it was just corporate buzz phrase after corporate buzz phrase. It had 900 words that said nothing. I do think you're going to have more access to Windows than you will on Project Helix, just by what I was reading, what I could read between the lines.
I would have figured they would like launch a proprietary version or custom version of Linux. Isn't that what they did the first time they tried the Steam Machine?
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, it didn't go very well, but a lot of people find Linux off-putting. I used to operate a Linux box way back in the day, and I can tell you it was way harder back then. But one thing that's cool about the Steam Machine is on some games, Steam operates what's called a workshop, which they house the mods in. And in there, you don't have to do manual installs. You just subscribe to the mod and it automatically installs into your game, which is, you think is awesome, but it is, but it's not always. Sometimes it screws up load orders and the whole bit. But at the very least, I think they're going to be able to give people access to the Steam Workshop, whereas the Helix will not. And so that out of the box, I think, makes it a better solution. And I'm sure you'll still be able to play Xbox on the Steam Machine.
Yeah.
Or play Game Pass or whatever.
Unless, like I said, unless Xbox, pulls the trigger on changing the strategy on exclusives, where they say like, nope, we're going back to exclusives. We got to have that for the Xbox. They could do that. I just don't know if they will. But they've been kind of reversing course on a lot of these bad choices that they had made before. This is an Xbox, campaign. That's being reversed. Now they're saying we are Xbox. And like, that's where you should have started off there, and now they're trying to get away from the thing where it's like, hey, you can play Xbox on a PlayStation. You can do that here. Where they were well on their way to becoming Sega, where they were just going to be like a games publisher. That's what it was looking like. And now they're like trying to do this about face, but like we said last week, you're doing this about face not long before the next console generation is going to be, and you're already years deep into development of your next box, and it's too late to change course, or too late to change your box now. Like whatever box you've been developing for all, that's the same box that you're going to release. And if they marketed that around, well, people probably aren't going to buy it anyway, and we don't really care because we'll just sell the people that are on PlayStation, we'll sell the PC people. Like, I don't know, they've got a long road to hoe.
Yeah, they do. And it's funny you brought that up because I think is her name, is it Asha?
Asha Sharma.
Asha Sharma. I think she heard you last week because according to my source Geeky Gadgets, they released a new tier system for Game Pass this week, which here's my thing, man. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt as much as I'm like was so pissed off. They are trying to work. They are trying to progress and move forward. You know, and you're going to stumble and you're going to make mistakes along the way. But in an effort to a little bit trump Sony this week, they announced this new tier process, and it's not all good news. I got news for you. Some of this is not great. But they are going to allow you to play multiplayer gaming in the Xbox environment for free. You're no longer going to need a paid subscription to play Call of Duty or whatever, Fallout 76, whatever you play online.
Which was
you're
always
not going to have
stupid.
to pay.
It's always stupid you did too.
Yeah, and Microsoft used to that you could get Xbox Live Silver and play.
Yeah,
you know, that's one of the things they were known for.
It was always there would be a few games that would allow you to do it. Like that was one of the big things with Fortnite is you didn't need a premium subscription to be able to use voice chat and play online. And it's like that shouldn't be surprising. Like that should just be the way. Like you shouldn't have to pay a subscription just to play your game the way they intend you to play it. It's crazy to me.
So, you know, Trump and PlayStation, because PlayStation still requires PlayStation, at least essential, to play a lot of the AAA titles that people love playing online. So Xbox, hats off to them for giving something that should have already been free, sort of like bottled water. I'm still pissed off about bottled water. So the free tier, now this is where it kind of sucks also. The free tier provides ad-supported access to select first-party and third-party games, making it an ideal entry point for budget-conscious gamers.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'll let you comment for that before I move on to the next tier.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. I don't like that because it's always the thing where it's like, oh, there'll be ads, you know, won't be many, and nobody that's ever tried to implement this has ever been able to exercise any level of restraint. It's always like once that door opens, it gets crazy. We've had games. I know that there have been like the Madden games, and there have been some others where they would do like commercials like between plays and like as you started your game, or load screens, and then you'd see billboards in the game. Like it just goes so crazy. Yeah, that sounds like just cracking the door open for because the whole thing about a premium subscription should be no commercials. That's like where it's like, oh yeah, you can get Hulu and then you'll just have, you know, you'll have commercials, but like, well, why am I paying if I'm watching commercials? Like, this is insane to me. So yeah, I don't like that already. I already don't like that.
So there's a couple of games that I think do ads right, and you're going to laugh, but one of them is Farming Simulator, and the other one's American Truck Simulator. So when you're driving in either one of these games, and you're driving in town to go maybe pick up feed for your cattle on your farm, the billboards that are naturally in the game will be like, "Hey, pick up the John Deere DLC today for $7.99 on the PlayStation Store or on Steam," but it's natural. Well, eventually, you don't even see it anymore. Just like in real life, we don't see the billboards.
But that's advertising their own stuff, which is
correct.
So they're not going to be obligated to be like, watch this for 20 seconds, and then you can, you know, circle back around and do your next row of corn.
Yeah, that's true. Or you have to watch this video and exactly what you just said and wait and do it. But So the next tier is called the Starter Edition, and it's $10
Wait,
a month.
wait. Already, hold on. Tier 2 is the starter tier?
Yes, that is the starter tier. And it's
I have semantic issues with this package.
well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let me read the description because I'm sure your issues will compound as we go. But the starter edition is $10 a month. It includes access to over 75 games, game streaming capabilities. So this is the first one to include streaming, and perks such as Discord Nitro integration, which is the premium that you normally have to pay for Discord service. So that's what you're getting for $10 a month.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, Discord, I've never used, I don't use Discord like all I use Discord is like talking to you and Bear, and that's about it. I don't really, so I don't even know what you get with Discord Nitro.
Well, you get overlays and you can do a lot. Like you get a bunch of widgets and it's nothing crazy. I won't pay for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's because it's like I just use it like text messages or WhatsApp, where it's just I don't see the need for that. So that doesn't. I'm sure there's some people that find value in that. I would not find any value in that whatsoever.
And I think it's $2.99 a month for Discord Nitro if you do it through Discord. So you're getting another $3 something a month.
Where it's like in that situation, I think I would be willing to bet that the majority of gamers would rather pay $7 a month for this starter pack or the starter tier.
Yeah,
than pay $10. But yeah, the fact that they're calling this the starter tier and it's literally the middle tier, like that's where they're like, well, now we're starting. Now we can really get going. Like, no, I hate that. I just hate that.
Yeah. The next tier is PC Game Pass, which is $14 a month. It's obviously focused on PC gamers, and it features EA Play access, but it excludes some perks available in the Ultimate tier, which we're going to get to shortly.
Okay. So clearly I have misunderstood. So they're not even naming the free tier.
No, it's literally just called free tier.
Wow. Okay. So I guess the starter makes a little bit more sense. But I do hate, like, I think it would have been better just to call it console or something like that. I don't like the starter thing, but then the fact that you have PC Game Pass, and then beyond that is Ultimate, which will also, like it does now, includes console and PC. Like, they should have a console. I mean, that's what the starter is. It's console tier Game Pass. Just call it that. It makes it sound less.
Yeah.
I don't know, like less Bush League. Like,
I would just call it Xbox tier.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't make it. Gosh. Okay. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Did they lay off their marketing department? What happened here, man? I don't like this.
I don't know, but believe it or not, there is another tier prior to Ultimate.
Oh.
We have Premium tier, which is $1 more a month than PC Game Pass at $15 a month. And it offers console and PC games. It offers delayed access to new releases, meaning you won't get them day one. And it offers exclusive 3-hour trials for upcoming titles, which who gives a shit about a 3-hour trial? I
wouldn't even spin that up to like, oh, you can play it for 3 hours. Like, no.
I think this tier is explicitly created so that you'll hate it, so that you'll be like, look, I'm either going to pay 14 or I'm going to go for the Ultimate, which I'm about to discuss in a second, because it doesn't make any sense to pay the 15.
Yeah.
So Ultimate tier, $23 a month, down from $29.
I was expecting 20, but
well, it was $29 for quite a few months before.
I remember they raised
Sharma
it. I didn't remember what they raised it to. $30 a month for a Game Pass is outlandish.
It is, and I think 23 is, but I'm happier with 23 than I am with 30
for sure.
But it delivers comprehensive access to all games, day one releases, Additional benefits like EA Play and Ubisoft Classic, which gives you like 41 games in Ubisoft's catalog, and it gives you access, if you need it, to Fortnite Crew, which is apparently Fortnite's subscription service that they offer that gives you like some V-Bucks per month and a skin or something.
That's right. That was one. They were impacted by whenever they increased the price of V-Bucks, but they did it. But they did it in the sneaky way where you didn't have to pay more for each package. They just reduced the amount of V-Bucks you got, and they kept the $20, $10, whatever.
And I do want to read this because it's important. Because again, I think this shows progress / they're working on something. But as far as customizing your experience, they said they further stated, to further enhance flexibility, Microsoft is reportedly exploring an a la carte subscription model. This innovative approach would allow you to customize your Game Pass subscription by removing features you don't use, such as cloud gaming or specific game libraries. By allowing players to pay only for the features they need, this model could make Game Pass even more appealing to a broader audience. And I agree with everything they just said in that.
Yeah, that I think could be good, because I'd say okay, I don't need EA Play, I don't need Ubisoft Classic, I don't need Discord Nitro, I don't need access to PC games. That sounds like a way better, as long as those like the modular sort of way, as long as they're actually accurately priced.
Yeah, correct.
Like if I turn down Discord, do is that $3 off or is that $1.50 off?
Right. Yeah, I don't want them to make each component more expensive in order to still recoup the loss on the a la carte system. But and of course they're still exploring Netflix as a subscription that'll be tacked on to Game Pass's more expensive tiers, obviously. But and I think I think they're going in the right direction. Is it going to take them a while to get there? Yeah. Are they going to piss some people off along? Yes, they will. But I think they're working, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, for sure we're seeing some positive signs, but yeah, I think a lot of those tiers are pretty negative. But yeah, the overall approach, like you said, where they're changing their approach to the whole thing, where we are Xbox. Okay, all that stuff's positive. The a la carte thing is positive as long as the pricing is fair. But yeah, some of that stuff, man, I just they I don't know. They keep stepping on rakes. It's like, and every time we're like, oh, good Xbox, it's always followed by something else that's like bad Xbox, where they do something. You just can we not just get 2 wins in a row for have 2 positive news stories about Xbox in a row?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not disputing that, but again, I like that they're obviously getting together in a room somewhere and going, how do we right the ship, man?
Yeah.
How do we fix this shit? Instead of just going, what do we do? Kind of thing. So, and I, definitely don't want that. But on a good note for them this week, they do have an exclusive releasing. And apparently a lot of people have already got access to it. One person apparently got banned until the year 10,000 for pirating it, which is Forza. Yeah, make sure you look that article up. I'm going to leave you with that little tidbit. Forza Horizon 6, which releases, if you pre-ordered the premium edition, it releases tonight at 11 o'clock Central.
Which would be midnight one of us pre-order the premium edition?
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this point. I have to meet with the Senate Judiciary before I can discuss these topics, but I would like to say that
you would be happy to discuss this in a private skiff later.
Yes. And I love the proper use of the word skiff. Thank you very much. I appreciate that remark. So I scoured the interwebs for you guys this week. Well, today, so that you wouldn't have to, because the reviews weren't available until today. But a lot of people reviewed it. And I got to tell you, I started with IGN mainly because Luke Riley, who's a British dude and a racing enthusiast and a sim racer, and does excellent reviews on racing games, is somebody I trust and have trusted as much as I do McCaffrey or Hatfield or any of those the old guard at IGN.
Yeah.
And he gave this game a 10.
Ooh.
And before I even finished getting through the first paragraph of his review, I was like, okay, I'm going to cross pollinate these reviews a little bit and look around. And basically everybody is giving this thing a perfect score. But I'd like to highlight a couple of comments that Luke made when he said, he goes, it seems odd that they waited this long, because this is Forza Horizon 6, before we got Japan. Because as far as car culture goes, and not racing culture, Japan is at the center of car culture. And it is the biggest stage in the world for it. And we had to wait 6 iterations to get it. But then he said, I'm glad they did, because it took them this long to perfect the process and what makes Forza Horizon so good. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Forza Horizon games.
I am. In fact, it's the only Forza games that I would play. I never played the mainline
Motorsport.
Games. Yeah, I played the Forza Horizon games because it gave me like the old school Need for Speed feeling.
Correct. So if you're not familiar with Forza Horizon, you're basically dropped into a world where a gigantic countrywide festival is going on in multiple race disciplines: rally, off-road, track racing, open wheel, circuit, point to point, street, all of it. And they usually have an ass load of cars on this game, and you can customize them to the hilt. And the visuals are usually, whichever year you play this game, trust me, they're going to be at the top of the visual spectrum as far as graphics go. They also have ridiculous DLCs that create fantastic racing. Forza Horizon 5 took place in Mexico. 4 was in London. 3 was in Australia, which was my favorite until probably I play this one. But he said he was absolutely happy that they waited, and he showed off significant amount of footage, multiple biomes, and it's Japan. So we're getting like a small bit of Tokyo City and some of the smaller villages, and then we're getting the Toge Tokyo drift down the mountain, and then we're getting the snow and the off-road. And
are there surely, if you're in Japan, there's got to be some area at least where there's just cherry blossoms just
oddly enough, it showed him drifting down the mountain, and there were cherry blossoms, like dogwood blossoms, all over the road, and he drifted through a pile of them, and they waved out. Awesome. Yeah, and that's good. And then, we had the scene from the release trailer, and I'm anxious about this because a car spins out and it comes to a stop, and then a Mobile Suit Gundam foot lands right beside the car. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that, because, if you know anything about Japan and Yokohama, there's a life-size Gundam there. So I'm looking forward to seeing everything that this game has to offer. And I love the Horizon games. One of my favorite features is the barn finds. Do you remember those?
I do. Oh, wait, those. So the first one I ever played was 3 of the Horizon.
Okay,
games.
Australia. Yeah.
So was that a thing in that one?
It was. There were 20 barns in Forza Horizon 3. So the barn.
Oh, so you would stumble across them.
Yes. So they're hidden all over the world.
Or
at least all over the game.
This is why I never found them then.
Okay. So you just stumble on these garages, and there's a classic car under a tarp in the garage. And you have a mechanic on your crew it'll be like a cutscene. He'll be like, hey, give me 2 or 3 days and I'll have this thing purring like a kitten or whatever. And 3 days, you'll come back to your little hub, and it'll be a 1967 Mustang Fastback GT 500 or something. But when you saw it in the garage, it looked like shit. I mean, it was maybe on 3 tires and rusted out. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see what they do with garage finds in Japan. I'm expecting a lot of Nissan Skylines and Mazda RX-7s. I shared the soundtrack with you, the playlist with you, earlier this week or maybe last week, and it looks like a lot of Japanese EDM and techno, and they even threw a Public Enemy track in there somewhere. So I'm looking forward to hearing the soundtrack. I'm sure it'll make me just want to watch Tokyo Drift, of course, but Definitely looking forward to crawling into this. And it's not my typical. I'm more of a sim guy, but this one's kind of a simcade title, so I'm looking forward to playing it.
Well, we'll have to hear your comments next week after you've gotten to get some hands-on time with it.
And man, with that, that's all I had in gaming.
Yeah, there's not a bunch that I have. There's just some little things that I came across. Like I said, it's been a crazy week, and I haven't had time for much. Thank you, Jay, for finding all this stuff for us to talk about and hang out with tonight. But I did see a couple of things that we can just do some quick hits on. One thing I saw, I don't know anything about this one though. I did see, so we can't really discuss too much on it because I don't know the rules and everything. But apparently for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, they're doing a $500,000 treasure hunt. Where I don't know how it works. I just know that you have to pay $40 and you get something. So I don't know. Look it up, guys. If you want 500 grand and you're willing to pay $40 for it, you can give that a shot. But that brings me to the other. Oh, you must be. I was like, he's really intense right now. But you must be browsing as your image is frozen. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about that I saw about Assassin's Creed was that there was apparently some data mining going on, and it's basically it's a leak. It's not confirmed. We don't know, but we've talked about Assassin's Creed Hex a few times. We talked about it again last week, but according to these leaks that were supposedly found by data mining, it looks like the main character of Assassin's Creed Hex is a descendant of Ezio from the OG Assassin's Creeds. So and I know that Ezio is one of your favorites. So you're muted.
Yeah, I was typing. Sorry. No, I think everybody knows he is not.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the thing that got me here that I thought was odd though is the fact that the assassin is the descendant of Ezio, whereas before, the whole point of the Assassin's Creed games was that again we're talking about the modern day storylines, which you and I both hate, and I'm glad to see that kind of take a back seat and kind of more or less go away in Black Flag Resynced. But the whole thing with it before was that you would have a relative and they would use that connection to tap into the memory of their things. But the fact that now your assassin is a relative of the previous assassin, so one, I think that would probably makes me think if they're already sort of pushing out the modern day component. All right, well, we'll talk to you, Grace. Sorry. Grace and Rio. So yeah, it'd be great. Okay, so yeah, I wonder if that's leaning towards pushing out the modern day component entirely, or not. It seems like more of a lean to that, where they're going to be connected.
Yeah, it does.
Because otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense. Because there's no. If they're two completely separate timelines, you got Ezio, and then we've got Hex is going to take place during the Salem witch trials. So I mean, there's no connection between those two directly. So it's not like she would remember or know Ezio from long ago.
Well, I'm ballparking it, but that's roughly 400 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's no connection between the two. So the only purpose that could serve, I would think, would be the fact that you could kind of keep that sort of familial connection as part of the story without getting into the modern component.
Yeah, and by the way, I have the video for the Assassin's Creed $500,000 treasure hunt.
Oh,
from
there's
Ubisoft.
A video.
There is a video.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's get this queued up here. All right, let's take a look at it. Can you full screen it for us? Okay. In celebration of the international release. All right. I would appreciate just those props.
Yeah.
15 puzzles to solve. Chest buried in the Caribbean. Oh boy. Okay, so we've got a crystal skull for those listening, a treasure worth $500,000. Golden Crystal, the lost treasure of Edward Kenway. So it looks like this is going to be kind of a ARPG sort of situation where it's kind of like altered reality kind of thing where you kind of follow along a story in real life. So 15 puzzles. Now we see the crystal skull there, and they had these gold coins which are obviously not gold. So I don't know. They said it was worth $500,000. So I imagine that's probably doing a lot of heavy lifting.
And what it did mention is that they linked up with a company called Treasure Hunt Expeditions, which are apparently known around the world for, running these treasure hunts. So it's hard to tell what it is. I mean, it could be a chest full of, pieces of 8, dude. Who knows?
I don't know. So we'll see. But I think so. Like I said, I'd seen a little bit of an article, and I didn't have time to read it, but it said that there was like it's $40. So I guess you have to $40 to get some sort of access to the first puzzle or so. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to look into it and see.
Yeah,
We'll have
plus,
to learn more.
Obviously, I'm assuming we have to cover our own travel to the Caribbean.
Yeah, well, and it also says that it's buried. So thankfully, I don't think they're going to have anybody diving. I can only imagine the the liabilities you would be opening yourself up to. But so yeah, I'm curious about this. I don't know. Anytime they do these things, though, they always go poorly. Either they end up not happening, something ends up being fraudulent, or you just never hear about them again. I don't know. These things never seem to go well. This isn't doing it for me. I'm excited about the game, but this ain't doing it for me. I kind of wish they'd just not do. I don't think the game needs any more hype, and I don't think this is going to hype anybody else up. So yeah, I don't.
Unless you already live in Nassau, I just don't understand. There's not a lot of people going to fork over whatever it's going to cost thousands of dollars for the travel for a chance to win $500,000 that we don't even know what that looks like yet.
Yeah, and it's like we don't even know like how it's going to be structured. So is it going to be a thing where it's like a lot of these situations where it's like, okay, you get the first clue, and if you're paying for it, I have to assume they're probably going to send you the thing, whether it's email or whatever. But then I would imagine that it would have to be timed as you went, like that. It would have to be a thing where, okay, well, you got this, you solved it, but we're not gonna, you don't get the next clue, or you don't do whatever until a certain time. Like because I can't imagine otherwise. You get somebody with weaponized autism, and this thing's going to be over in 9 hours. And
I agree with you, man. I think it's it's going to be crazy to see what it is. Although I got to tell you now, I'm probably going to follow it and try to find out what happens. And that's just the way I work. But and again, nobody needs it. You could make an online only treasure hunt and make just incredible puzzles, and the first people that figure it out win, or do something like that. I could see a game like Uncharted running something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell, man, but I think it's going to be a much ado about nothing.
And then the other, I agree too. I think it's like I said, so many of these, we're like, oh, they're doing this thing, and then you just never hear about it again. There's no announcement of the winner. There's no video. The other thing that I saw was that Sony reported an over $700 million loss within the last week or so of Bungie. And this is after they paid $3.4 billion with a B to acquire them. And, it's like at the time that Sony purchased them, they were flying high with Destiny 2, and, there was all this goodwill. And then Sony bought them, and then the wheels fell off. They abandoned their community with Destiny 2. They stopped listing. You had very instrumental people start to leave. Then you had Marathon and everything that happened with Marathon. We had art scandals, and it's just been one thing after another. And Bungie is not what it was. It's
Not
another
what
one
it
of
started as,
yeah,
for sure.
it's another one of those things where it's like BioWare or something like that, where you have this legendary development studio and now it's just a name and a
Dude,
logo. Like there's no soul there anymore. The people that made it what it is are gone, or the ones that still remain can't make any decisions. Like they don't have
these
any
guys
power.
these guys were behemoths. BioWare and Bungie. I mean, they were behemoths. I mean, Bungie started with Halo, and BioWare is. I mean, they started with. A lot of people forget this, but they started with Knights of the Old Republic, and then hot off the heels of that, they had Jade Empire, which was a hit across the board and a fantastic game before moving on to Mass Effect. And it is sad to see what has happened to both of these companies. It really, really is. So
Yeah, I mean, I never thought there would be a situation where I would think that BioWare was one game away from closing down. Because
yeah,
most of them would have, any other development studio wouldn't have survived what BioWare has been able to survive thus far, because they've had 3 flops in a row with Andromeda, and then Anthem, and then
Veilguard.
Veilguard, Dragon Age Veilguard. And it's
Yeah.
like, most game studios would not a lot of them wouldn't survive 1 failure, certainly not 2. Surviving 3 is unheard of. And
Yeah.
to be at this point, and I don't know, it's sad, man. It's sad. And it feels like, I mean, over 700 million, we're closing in on another $1 billion loss on something you already paid $3.4 billion for. I mean, where did the money go, dude? Where did, like, somebody's
Yeah.
retired on their own private island over that, like one of the biggest scam jobs in gaming right now. That's crazy. That's crazy.
At this point, I'd probably send out an email saying, I need everybody to send me your job description. At this point, that's at this point, I mean, I'd be wondering, hey guys, we got to recoup somewhere. Something ain't right about this. But it's not like they did. I have a hard time believing they didn't see this coming and say, yeah, we know this is coming and we're going to have to live through it. And it's going to be ugly for a lot of people, I'm sure, but we'll bounce back type of deal. I'm hoping that they didn't go into this thinking it was all going to be, bells and whistles and flowers and hugs.
I think they were stoked. I think they were like, hey, we got Destiny 2. They're working on this marathon thing. Like, this is going to be huge. And then,
yeah, nope.
So,
and Marathon's dead on arrival already. You've got, I read articles this week about them already, circling the wagons to try to come up with DLCs and additions and content for that game to keep people interested. So, I mean, it's on its way out.
I mean, that's one where in this day and age, this is why thank goodness it seems like people are finally starting to realize that not everything needs to be a live or like a live service game.
Yeah.
Because it's like, one, if you're going to be a live service game, you have to be a massive success out the gate, and then like slowly taper your players down, because that's the only way you can survive. Is you start off huge, you're going to lose players. So, okay, we need to keep enough players from our initial massive batch that we can still make some money off of it. But I mean, so many of them, they launch and they just fall in, because what else are they going to do? You can't have a massive record-breaking hit with every live service game, especially when every game's a live service. And so you launch, you fail, and then you end up like Highguard, where 45 days that they lasted from being the one more thing at the Game Awards to
you got to let that go, man.
being shut down. But I mean, that's like the absolute pinnacle of how you can be announced in games, and that not be enough. Like, people don't care. So it's a bigger risk to make a live service game than to just make a single player game. Even if it does all right, you didn't lose them. Like, you can sell that game continually over time. You can sell that game for years as long as it's good. Whereas a live service game, if you don't get enough to like fund that thing right up front, it dies. You have to turn the servers off. You can't make any more money off of it anymore. You can't recoup it over time.
especially if it's a console only game. At least with a PC game, you can come out with a double A title that doesn't sell well out of the gate, but garners a cult following over time. And then as modders mess with it, dude, it's, turns into just a phenomenon. But that's lightning in a bottle. You don't know that's going to happen.
Yeah. So I don't know. It blows my mind. It's sad. It's sad. But yeah, I think that we're finally starting to see the industry follow where gamers have like hoping, where it's like we're getting far fewer of those live service releases, and hopefully we'll go back to because there for a while it was EA that just didn't even want. Yeah, it was EA where they're like, we don't want anything that's single player. We don't want any single player games. They wanted everything to be a live service. So I thankfully we're starting to see the end of that.
True.
That's all I got on the little stuff that caught my
eye. Just a couple of TV/movie notes. Ghost War, Tom Clancy's Ghost War, starring John Krasinski and Wendell Pierce and Sienna Miller. She'll be the new character added to that cast. It releases on the 20th, so 6 days from now. So I'm looking forward to watching that on Amazon Prime Video. And as of yesterday, the original Top Gun plus Top Gun Maverick are in the theaters for 1 week only. If you want to go catch that as a double feature with an intermission, you can, or I think you can catch them separately. I know it's playing at all the theaters around me, but I have not seen the original since I was 12 years old in the theater.
I've never seen it in the theater.
Oh, wow. You should definitely see it in the theater.
Cool.
It would be absolutely crazy. And then you found the release date for it. Spider-Man Noir comes out on the exact same day as
007 First Light, May 27th.
Right. So Nick Cage might have to wait because I will be trying to earn my number. But
yes. But it releases on a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday, so that'll be 1 day before the show, or like you mentioned, where I guess there's a 24-hour early access, I guess, for
correct
pre-orders. So hopefully we can get into it, and get some gameplay that we can go ahead and start basing some early impressions on.
Yeah, and just if I can get some good mechanics stuff down, to where we can talk about that, I think that would be a win.
Get a couple of the open segments so we can see how that feels, see what we think of it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. We're finally there.
Yeah, me too, man. We're getting so close, and I almost got into Hitman last weekend and decided not. I'm like, I'm going to wait. I don't want it to influence my review of 007, so I'm not going to play any Hitman. But anyway, man, that's all I had, really.
That's really all I got, man. It's been a wild week. It's just been rough. It's just been rough. But yeah. I appreciate you shouldering the weight of this week for us and carrying the show.
I don't feel like I ever do that, man. I try to come up with stuff. Like literally this week, I could tell because I hadn't heard from you at all. And I was like, okay, so I need some stories that I know he would probably have brought to the table, which I know you would have done the Steam Machine one and the Xbox tier one. So that was my focus. I was like, I got to find some Rust stories out here so we can get some good discussions, which I felt like we did, because I didn't think we had an hour and a half worth of material, but we made it. So
I didn't either, but yeah, it was good. It's one of those things where it's like, usually whenever I disappear, it's because I'm in a like an editing hole, and then no videos got released. So then it's like, where's he at? But yeah, it's been wild. But thank you so much, Jay. And been fun. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Graceland. And anything else you want to say before we end the stream? See, last time you were upset because I said, anything else, Jay? And you're like, no. And then so I ended the thing, and then you were going to try to like jump in there, and I didn't notice until I'd clicked the button. I saw your mouth forming a syllable as I clicked the button. It was too late.
Yeah.
So
I do have something this week.
Okay.
I just want to say to everybody, if you got a game that's about to have a sequel come out or a newer version, go back and play some of your old stuff. I've been retroing a lot this week, and I, played some Black Flag. played some old Star Wars games. Get back into them, rediscover that nostalgia, and just have a good time with it, because you never know what's coming around the corner, and that's really all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, and to that, I guess to piggyback on that, I will do that sometimes too, where it's like, oh, this is coming out. Let's play the remake's coming out. Let's play the original, or the sequel's coming out. Let me play the one
Yeah.
before, or whatever. And we always talk about the rose tinted glasses that we wore, in our memories whenever we play these games.
Yeah.
We play them now, and you're like, oof, looks rough. But there's something about that period where you're about to get the new thing, and you want to go back to the old thing to see it before, where those like rose colored glasses kind
They
of come
come
back
back.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a weird halo effect around this time period right before the new thing comes out, where, you know what, if it's a little bit janky, a little bit pixely, you don't really care, because the new thing's going to be there, and so you just enjoy that thing for what it is. So it's like a second honeymoon period that you get to have with one of your favorite games, and I think that's always a good time to play them.
Yeah, and I've discovered too that if I can get past the first 10 minutes, then my rose tinted glasses come all the way back. And I'm even saying some of the things that I remembered saying when I played it the first time. I'm like, oh, hell no, you don't. Nope, you're not coming through there. And, you find out that this is just as good as it was. I got to get past that first 10 minutes. And sometimes I don't make it. And I'm like, no, hell no. But, here we are. That's all I wanted to leave y'all with.
Well, that's all I've got. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Later.
I must leave you in